A man served his own intimate body parts as a luxury meal. It all began when he realized he felt no sexual desire toward anything or anyone. To express that message, he turned his own body into what he considered a work of art. The result was immediate controversy. This became one of the strangest cases ever recorded.
This video demo is the property of VL Tape Society.
This case took place in Japan in 2012. Authorities received reports that a man had prepared and served a steak made from his own genital tissue. Yes, human genital meat. By definition, this act fell under cannibalism. Law enforcement moved quickly and arrested the man responsible, a performance artist named Mao Sugiyama, along with 3 others who had helped organize the event. The obvious question was, why would someone do this? According to Sugiyama, everything began with a personal struggle over his sexual identity. Since his teenage years, he claimed he had never felt sexual attraction toward anyone. While his peers talked about romance, relationships, and desire, Sugiyama felt nothing, only emptiness. Eventually, he identified himself as asexual. Asexuality is a sexual orientation where a person does not experience sexual attraction to others. It is not the same as sexual dysfunction. Sexual dysfunction is a medical or psychological condition where desire exists, but the body or mind cannot respond. Asexuality, on the other hand, means the attraction itself is absent. To Sugiyama, this was simply who he was. But when he shared this with others, many people didn't believe him. Some accused him of making it up. Others said he was just seeking attention. As a result, Sugiyama was pushed away by several friends. He felt cornered, misunderstood, and deeply isolated. The pressure became overwhelming. Eventually, he chose to express his feelings through art. Sugiyama decided to become an artist and explore his identity, his isolation, and his lack of sexual desire through his work. His artistic focus centered on one idea. If he felt no sexual desire at all, then his sexual organs served no purpose. From that belief, his most extreme idea was born. Sugiyama made a post on social media. In it, he offered a meal made from the flesh of his own genitalia. What shocked him even more was the response. The meal was priced very high, yet several people contacted him eagerly, expressing genuine interest in tasting it. Sugiyama himself was surprised by the level of enthusiasm. Eventually, he decided to organize what he called an art banquet. But before committing, he needed to be sure he wouldn't regret it. So Sugiyama conducted a personal experiment. For 1 full month, he engaged in frequent sexual encounters. His goal was to confirm whether he truly felt no desire. After that month, nothing changed. He felt no attraction, no desire. That was when Sugiyama became certain. On his 22nd birthday, Sugiyama underwent a procedure to remove his genital organs. The procedure is known as gender nullification. This surgery removes physical sexual characteristics without creating new ones. Its purpose is not replacement, but to eliminate gendered anatomy altogether. Because it is permanent and carries medical risks, including infection,
pain, and urinary complications. It requires strict psychological evaluation. Sugiyama had already passed those evaluations. The surgery was completed successfully.
Sugiyama preserved the removed organs. He stored them carefully in a freezer for several weeks, and then he prepared them for his art banquet. Sugiyama held the banquet inside a small private club. He named the event Ham Cybele Century Banquet. Around 70 guests attended. Some came out of curiosity. Others came because they viewed it as an extreme form of body art. That night, Sugiyama stood in front of the audience wearing full chef attire. He wanted to show that this was not a joke. Everything was done seriously and professionally. Before the main event began, the evening was filled with discussions about body art, identity, and moral boundaries. There was even a live music performance with classical themes. But none of that was what people were truly waiting for. The centerpiece was still to come. Sugiyama eventually brought out a container. Inside it were the preserved parts of his own genital organs. In front of the guests, he began preparing the dish. He sliced the flesh into thin pieces, then sautéed it with button mushrooms, parsley, and several seasonings. Visually, the dish resembled a high-end restaurant meal. Out of dozens of attendees, only 5 people were willing to order the dish. Each of them paid a high price for the experience. The remaining guests, although unwilling to touch the main dish, were still offered other meals, including beef and crocodile meat. Sugiyama personally carried the plates to the tables. He served them with the composure of a chef presenting his proudest creation. One by one, the 5 guests picked up their utensils and began eating. Their reactions varied. Some chewed slowly with blank expressions. Others frowned, commenting on the chewy texture. A few swallowed quickly, without hesitation. According to one guest, the taste was firm and rather bland. None of the diners vomited or refused the dish. They ate fully aware that they were participating in Sugiyama's artwork. Around them, dozens of other guests raised their phones, recording everything. Reactions ranged from shock and disgust to excitement. Some believed they were witnessing a once-in-a-lifetime art performance. The evening ended without incident. Sugiyama's performance was completed successfully. He closed the event by stating that what they had experienced was not merely a dinner, but a symbol of bodily autonomy and personal identity. Still, many attendees admitted that despite understanding the message, they felt deeply uncomfortable. The banquet lasted only a few hours, but it stayed in their minds, especially for those who had eaten the dish. After the event, the story did not stay confined to that room. Photos, reports, and testimonies spread rapidly. Public reaction was divided. Some dismissed it as bizarre. Others turned it into jokes. But many were alarmed, calling the event inappropriate and dangerous. Concerned citizens reported Sugiyama to the authorities. Sugiyama was arrested along with 3 individuals who had helped organize the banquet. However, when authorities attempted to process the case, they encountered a problem. Under Japanese law, there was no specific regulation that prohibited eating human flesh, as long as no homicide was involved. Sugiyama had not killed anyone. The organs were his own, and they were given voluntarily. Legally, the act itself was not clearly illegal. Because of this, authorities pursued an alternative charge. Sugiyama was accused of committing an indecent public display. Displaying genital organs in front of dozens of people was considered a violation of public order. The possible penalties included imprisonment and fines. Sugiyama defended himself by stating that his actions were purely artistic. He emphasized that all attendees knew exactly what the event involved. There was no coercion, no victims. He claimed he had taken precautions, including testing the organs for infectious diseases and storing them properly. Those who tasted the dish had signed consent forms beforehand. From a medical perspective, experts acknowledged that consuming human flesh carries serious risks. Even if tested and preserved, there could still be traces of anesthetics or post-surgical medications in the tissue. The cooking process was not guaranteed to be sterile. This was not a medical laboratory, but a public venue. The risk of contamination and infection remained high.
Human flesh has never been approved as safe for consumption. Its composition, collagen fibers, smooth muscle, and blood vessels can be difficult to digest. Possible reactions include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and food poisoning. While chemically similar to animal meat, the psychological impact can trigger stronger physical reactions. Reports of cannibalism often describe nightmares, involuntary vomiting, and even post-traumatic stress disorder after participants realized what they consumed. Because of these factors, the case sparked intense debate. Ultimately, Sugiyama was charged with disturbing public order. The Tokyo District Court fined him 250,000 yen. No prison sentence was imposed, as the court ruled that although the act was extreme, it caused no direct physical harm.
The controversy did not end there. Some supported Sugiyama, praising his courage to express identity through art. Others argued that his actions were nothing more than public indecency. To this day, Sugiyama's case is often cited as an extreme example of how art, law, and morality can collide. And that was the story of Mao Sugiyama, a case that sits uncomfortably between art, identity, law, and human dignity. No one was killed, no one was forced, and yet many people walked away disturbed. Sugiyama didn't break the law in the way most people expect, but his actions exposed something deeper: how thin the line is between personal freedom and collective discomfort. This case forces us to ask a question that has no easy answer. Do we truly have absolute ownership over our own bodies? And if we do, where should the boundary be drawn before humanity itself loses meaning? Because not everything that is legal is necessarily right, and not every act of self-expression should be free from responsibility. This has been VL Tape Society, documenting real cases where reality becomes stranger than fiction, and reminding us that when art, freedom, and morality collide, what's left behind is often discomfort and silence. See you in the next tape.